Erin Burnett got a lot of heat, including from us, on the very pro-Wall Street piece that she did on her first show on last Monday, when she started her program on CNN. And she went out there and mocked the protesters and kept telling them,
seriously?
And so now that she's taking that heat, she's going to say, all right, now she's going to get tough on the banks. She's going to hold them accountable. She's even going to bring a banker on. And Anna, you saw this.
I saw this interview as it was happening live. And throughout the entire interview, I want you guys to keep a close eye on her facial expressions versus her actual question. She has this very, like, I'm being very tough on you face expression, right?
Right.
At the same time, the questions, I don't know if they're exactly hardball.
Yeah, so we're going to get the questions in a second. First, let's go to her intro, see if she's really tough on the banks.
Banks should be great for America. Never mind what we do without ATMs and places to store our money. Banks mean jobs. Banks in America, and there are more than 7,000 of them, employ almost 1.8 million Americans, more than America's largest private employer, Walmart. Banks employ so many people that one bank's layoff can skew the jobs report for the entire nation. I'm talking about Bank of America, which laid off 30,000 employees in September, almost a third of the nation's total planned job cuts for the month. So we should be rooting for the banks.
Yeah. So that's her intro to her hardball interview with a banker, right?
Yeah. Now, look, she's going to make some caveats here, and so this is her making the turn. But I love that before she even made the turn, she's like, but we should be rooting for the banks. All right, but look, they do have some slight problems. Let's explain those.
The banks say Washington reforms have hurt them so much that the fees are the only way to make money. But that is not true. Take Bank of America. They are planning to put a $5 monthly fee on debit cards. An analyst who ran the numbers today for us tells us they will make 13% more money on that than they did before the regulations. And that's just debit fees. Bank of America is also launching $9 monthly fees on some checking accounts. Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so it's not that they blew up the economy with derivatives, et cetera, but she's opposed to some of these fees because she thinks that's populist. Like, oh yeah, you don't like that $5 debit card fee, right? Oh, I'm on your side. That's a little outrageous. I mean, I love them, but that part's a little problem. So now she's going to bring out that banker that you were talking about.
Yes.
Okay, notice the intro too. He's actually part of her television team, okay? And she's going to be tough with him. Watch.
Russell Goldsmith is on the Out Front Strike Team. That's the group of 20 CEOs, investors, and entrepreneurs that I picked to answer the tough questions about the economy this election season.
But wait a minute. So he's part of your team. But the tough questions are coming. All right, what's the tough questions? Let's see.
When you look at these numbers, it is really, it's really upsetting because it just doesn't feel right. And I want to ask you the first question. Are you doing what Bank of America and some of these other big banks are doing, which is charging debit card fees or increasing your ATM fees?
At City National Bank, we're not changing our fees at all, Erin. We're not putting in debit card fee charges, and we're not raising our minimums.
So what is going on with the big banks?
Well, you know, a lot of the biggest banks are showing a lack of sensitivity right now to the economic environment that we're in and to the kind of issues that the American people feel about.
And explain to me why it is that some of the mid-sized banks, like yours, are not doing it when the big banks are. Is this another case of they're just so big? They're too big.
I don't think it's a question of they're too big. It's about their focus. At City National and a lot of mid-sized banks, we're the local leader. We're the big local bank. We're connected to the community. We're very focused on meeting the needs of our community. I think one of the unfortunate things for the entire banking industry, and I applaud what you said about it at the beginning, is the fact that banks are vital engines of this economy. At City National, we're lending money. Lots of banks are lending money. Our people are involved. We're donating. We're volunteering. We're helping businesses get going.
How is this not like a PR stunt on the bank's part? Like this is a huge advertisement for the banks, for the mid-sized banks. And I don't even really understand her question. What is her question? Why is it that the big banks are doing this? Is it because they're too big?
That's what
striking question.
Striking, piercing. That's where she does her tough face that you were referring to, right? Okay, but the thing is, this guy from City National Bank is in direct competition with Bank of America. So of course he'd love to take it, go out here and disparage them. And are you giving him softballs? Why is your bank, let me ask you a tough question. Why is your bank so much better than the Bank of America? Well, Erin, I'm glad you asked and made me part of your television team. Let me tell you about how much my bank rocks. compared to the other banks. And by the way, at the end, he's like, and we donate and we volunteers. Aren't the banks so lovely? So Erin Burnett in the beginning began with, the banks are awesome. In the end, interviewed someone who was a banker, CEO, which she loved, and gave softball questions. But in the middle, she said, well, the debit fees are a little bit of a problem. And then she says,
am I not merciful? Am I not merciful?
I criticized the banks this much and made a toughie face.
A toughie face.